Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, LovedHappy. My name is Kaylin. Here on my channel, it's my desire to love you, encourage you, inspire you, and to give you practical tips to help you become the person you want to be and lead the fulfilling life that you were made for. Today is a little bit different. We're going to be doing a Q&A. A few videos back I asked for some questions, so here I am and I'm going to answer them for you today. So if you have any questions that come up as you watch this video, make sure to leave them down below because whenever I go to film another Q&A, I'll make sure to check this video for questions to answer. So feel free to leave questions about anything down below. You guys asked some really good questions, so without further ado, let's get into the questions. Rachel asked if I have any siblings. I do. I have one older sister. She's about 2.5 years older than me. How many kids do I want? My husband and I both have one other sibling. Neither of us were really close with our siblings growing up, so I think in our minds we want something different than that. So we've kind of decided that we want at least 3 to 4 kids, but we're just gonna take it one at a time and see where it goes. But I think we just want a little bit more crazy, a little bit more fun, a little bit more personalities than just 2. Because when there's just 2, I feel like you can each kind of go your own way. We want a little bit of crazy and fun in our lives. How did Alex, my husband, and I meet? My husband and I met at this local worship prayer group sort of thing. I actually grew up in the city that he went to college at, and we both started going to this thing and we met. I became close friends with some of his college friends and I eventually moved in with those girls, and then him and I kind of just started hanging out, and the rest was history. That is for another video, but that's how we met. My husband and I kind of have a crazy dating marriage story. It happened pretty fast and kind of untraditionally, so maybe I'll share that story with you guys at some point. My friend, Her Laughter Sings, you have to check out her channel, it's awesome. She says, do you ever get hate for being religious? And if so, how do you deal with it? You know, I actually don't get much hate. I mean, I'm sure as my channel continues to grow and I get more exposure online, I'll get hate for what I believe, because that's just the nature of things like this. But in real life, I have made a lot of amazing connections with people who believe things differently than me. What my faith looks like to me, like in my real day-to-day life, is very simple, and in the season that I'm in, it's not something that's extremely outward. You know, I'm very much in my home and focused on my family, so I don't even have like an insane amount of interaction with the outside world in a sense. But the interaction that I do have with this world in regards to my faith and what I believe, to me that's often praying for people on the streets or in stores. My husband and I love to do that, or just encouraging them. So people tend to really love that and respond well. Sometimes people are taken aback and are offended or just have a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to God or when people offer to pray for them. But that is something that I love to do. I just love to encourage people that way and see God touch people that way. So yeah, people actually respond really well to that and are often really intrigued by God and God's love, because people aren't really used to seeing that a lot of times. So in that way, no. If and when I do get more hate or resistance online in regards to what I believe, I think that kind of hate would honestly be easier for me to deal with than like more personal attacks about me or about my family or things like that. Because I feel really secure in what I believe about God and just who He is and in my faith, honestly more than I do in myself a lot of the time. So, but check back with me in a little bit and we can see how I would answer this question. Jess Ann asked a great question. She says, the first question she has is, what is your favorite way to create a God-focused day? For me, this honestly is a struggle, but the main thing that I have and that I can do every day is pray. A lot of the times in the season that I'm in, it's hard for me to find that quiet time to do different rituals that I would really love to incorporate in my life. But in the mornings, prayer, just committing my day to the Lord, that is something that I do consistently. There are so many other things that would really help me and encourage me in my walk with the Lord, like journaling and reading different books, and I try to do those things. I've just been very low on energy and just haven't been really disciplined lately, but those are some things I definitely want to be spending more time doing. She asked if I went to college. I did go to college. I went to an art and design school in Los Angeles, and there I studied architecture for 2.5 years. I loved it. I had a crazy experience with the Lord, and I really just felt Him shaking me, and I dropped out of school in the middle of the semester, and I just started working because I had to start paying my bills. Then I actually went to a Christian college in the LA area and studied intercultural studies. I just knew I wanted to commit everything in my life to the Lord at that point. I stayed on campus the first I stayed on campus the first semester, and the second semester I studied abroad in Ecuador. And then I came back and I felt the Lord telling me not to go back to school. I ended up meeting my husband, we got married, and then I was working a full-time job, but I was also going back to school to get my prereqs to pursue nursing school. But then I got pregnant, and now I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I have a little bit of everything behind me. I'm not sure at all what's before me, but I'm grateful for my journey, and I know that where I'm at today is where I'm supposed to be. So I'm definitely just taking things one step at a time, and definitely value being at home with my daughter in the meantime. That was a long answer, but that's my brief rundown with education. Lauren from the Joyful Homemaker asked, how did you pick your daughter's name? I really like it. My daughter's name is Elia, and the story with her name is ever since I was pregnant, I had 1,000 names on my phone. I was always looking up different names online and in different forums and looking up the meaning of names, and I just loved looking at names. But come the time my daughter was actually born, we did not have a name. And she was born in a birth center, and it's different when they're born that way. You don't have to name them before you go home. So we were actually able to take her home and still ponder what her name would be. We would try calling her some of the names we had on our list, but they really didn't fit her. So the first few days after she was born, you know, I was in bed healing and nursing her all day long. I was looking up different Hebrew names, and I came across, I'm not sure if I found Elijah first or Elia, but Elia is a derivative of Elijah or Elias, which means Jehovah is God. And if you look online, they spell it E-L-I-A, but we were more drawn to the E-L-L-I-A, so that is her name, Elia. We thought that if her name was E-L-I-A, it would seem more like her name was pronounced Elia, which isn't the name that we wanted. So I'm not sure if the pronunciation is correct or anything like that, but Elia is her name. We named her when she was 3 days old, and that is how we discovered her name. The next question is from Tommy Ashworth, and she asked, what made you start YouTube and how do you keep your motivation? What made me start YouTube? I started watching YouTube and kind of discovered the whole world of YouTube when I was pregnant with Elia because I was at home. I honestly did not know it really existed before that. And people had different channels and, you know, lifestyle channels and that sort of thing. But the thought crossed my mind a few times before I started it, and I think those basic questions come into your head, like, I guess I didn't feel like proficient in any area. Even though I love food, I'm not a dietitian, and even though I'm a mom, I'm a new mom, and I definitely don't know everything. So it was very easy for me to just talk myself out of it and be like, what am I gonna do, you know? So I didn't have a clear sort of vision, but something just one day clicked for me, and I just knew that I wanted to make videos to encourage people and just to have a platform to be who I am and share that with people and uplift people and encourage people. I know it sounds silly, but the idea that I could just come on here and be myself and share those passions of loving people with you and seeing people touched by the love of God and sharing different things that He was teaching me through YouTube was what really inspired me. And at that moment, I just felt that door just swing wide open, and I knew that the Lord was encouraging me to walk through it. So that's what I have done. And in regards to how I stay motivated, honestly, I think it's about having that bigger vision about why you're doing it. So what keeps me motivated personally is wanting to encourage people, wanting to continue to build the community that we are here. It's wanting to share things that have really impacted me with you guys out there. I often tend to share on a little bit deeper topics, and I really want to go to those places with you guys and for you guys to encourage you. I also just really enjoy the whole process, and I just love having something to build that is tangible and that is outside of motherhood. It's truly been an awesome experience for me. I bet you can relate to that because I know you're a mom too. So those are some of the things that keep me motivated. Alright guys, that was the first part of the Q&A. I'm going to post the second part of the Q&A next week. There are a lot of really good parenting questions. So if you're interested in that, make sure to watch the second part of the Q&A next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any requests for specific videos, please leave them down below in the comments because I'd love your feedback and I'd love to know what you want to see from me. I love you guys and I hope you have a beautiful day because you're absolutely worth it. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!